Hello, everyone. My name is Shay Moraga, and I'm the founder and visionary of Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer. Today, we are doing our Talk, Listen, Share Survivor to Thrivership series. And I have the immense privilege to bring on my friend, Emily, who is going to share with you her thrivership, inspiration, her hope, and her joys of making it through cancer. Now, I know that sounds a little odd, but when you meet her, she just amplifies joy. Let me bring her on.
Hi.
Hello, Emily. How are you?
I'm doing great today.
Good.
Yeah.
You look very lightful and joyful. I was just telling everyone you amplify joy. You always have, ever since I've met you.
Thank you. I feel good. I also just did a workout this morning, so that helps with the
That's
glow.
good. What did
Yeah.
you do? Tell me.
I am working with a new trainer, so I did strength training. I was outdoors and we did like a lot of body weight strength training, squats and bridges and
Nice.
arrow rows with tricep kickbacks and just the whole gamut.
Oh
Cardio.
my goodness.
Yeah.
I did lifting my coffee today.
It's a really functional movement. It's very important to be able to lift and sip.
Yes, very. I also did my breathing techniques today. So
Good.
I don't know if the world knows this, but Emily on the fourth Monday of each month does our mindful meditation Move to Heal series. It's a virtual session and it is just lovely. I love getting on that Monday and kind of resetting my whole mindset for not only the week to come, but for the month to come. It's been great.
It's been really fun to lead too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk about you. We want to share your story with our audience on your cancer and where you are today. Tell us a little bit about what type of cancer you had, where you are at this point in your survivorship, and yeah.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with endometrial stage 1A grade 1 endometrial cancer, which is in the lining of the uterus. And I was diagnosed in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. Woo, fun times. And I spent 4 years doing I would say they call it like reproductive kind of conservative approach to maintaining keeping my uterus because I was diagnosed when I was 36 and I don't have kids. And I also went through a lot of different types of processes and incorporated a lot of different type of healing techniques as well to try to mitigate and beat the cancer and keep my organs. But things just kind of weren't towards the end of the 4 years weren't really, it was starting to shift. The cells seemed a bit permanent. And so I had surgery in May of 2024. So I am now cancer free. I actually have my first follow-up appointment coming up this week with my doctor, which is it's been about 4 months in surgery as we're recording this today. So yeah, I feel pretty good. The recovery has been interesting. And as of today, I'm cancer free, which is fantastic feeling. Yeah. Yes.
What type of surgery did you have, Emily?
I did a laparoscopic, I think they use the Da Vinci, laparoscopic. Oh gosh, the name of it is, it was a total hysterectomy except for they saved my right ovary because I am 40 and so I still haven't gone completely into menopause, although I am technically in a surgical menopause because I don't have a menstrual cycle anymore. So they removed the uterus, the fallopian tubes, and the left ovary and the cervix, which is connected to the uterus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did that take to recover?
Oh, well, I would say I'm still in recovery. It's been about 4 months. But my body is still, finding its way, as like hormones run us. and and now that I have one ovary kind of pumping out some of the hormones, I've had a significant drop in a lot of the other ones. And so I've had some very interesting symptoms I've had to navigate through over the last few months. But I would say the physical aspect of it took me about, I would say by week 12 post surgery, I was starting to feel less incredibly fatigued and able to actually go back to work and function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, going through all of that, because that's a lot for someone, 36 years old
Yeah.
and then 40 years old to go through.
Yeah.
Are there things that you would do differently in your cancer journey?
Mm. I, you know, I don't regret any choices I've made. Um, some of the things that I did do that I am glad that I did is I got second opinions. Um, I ended up changing oncologists. The first doctor that I had kind of instilled a bit of fear in me and really wanted to do surgery right away. Um, and I was already terrified. No one ever wants to hear the word cancer. And so it was really scary. I don't have kids. I didn't have kids. And I also wasn't sure that that was the path that I wanted, but anyways, he had me take a really high dose of hormone therapy that I was on for almost a year. And it was really affecting my mental state. So it was like a high dose. It's called Megace. It's a Megestrol. It's used in both endometrial and breast cancers. And I had negative side effects. I put on a lot of weight during that, which physically I was really uncomfortable. And then I was also just very depressed. And granted, we were also in the middle of the pandemic. So also feeling very kind of isolated and siloed. And I really could only be with my family, which was great. It brought me and my family a lot, very, very close together, my parents and my loved ones. And that being said, I maybe would have switched doctors sooner. I ended up getting a second opinion from another oncologist who referred me to a really great gynecological oncologist, and she at UCSF, and she said, let's do another biopsy, and we'll get you off of this high dose hormone therapy and put in an IUD because it's more localized hormone treatment as opposed to affecting the entire system. And and that was one of the best moves that I made during that time. And so I would say, I think everyone has their own experience, but for me, also the first oncologist was a man. And I have no qualms against male doctors. I think that it's wonderful that there's someone for everyone. But going through something as intimate as an endometrial cancer, and as you know, you're examined, you're exposed. It's already very like, being poked and prodded at. I think I should have made that shift a little sooner than when I did. Because I was already almost a full year with him before I switched into my other doctor, who she's amazing, and he was great too. So, but he just wasn't the right doctor for me, and so that would be the one thing that I think I would have done a little differently. I also incorporated. I know I'm sure we'll talk more about this, but I had also incorporated other types of healing practices that were really helpful, and I maybe would have decided to do those a little sooner as well. That being said, like I feel like, you know, I try not to live with regrets, and I feel like everything I did affected each choice that I made, and I'm grateful for where I am and being cancer free today, and it's my story to tell.
Tell us more about the healing modalities, the other ones that you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm a yoga teacher, and I've been teaching since 2011. I'm also an Ayurveda practitioner. And Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga. It's a complete medical system. It's just like it's very parallel to traditional Chinese medicine. If you're familiar with like acupuncture and Chinese herbs, it's the same. It just comes, well, not exactly the same, but it's parallel, but it just comes from India. And so I have an Ayurveda doctor that I work with. And, um, you know, there was a time where, because I was just really affected by the medicine that I was taking, the hormone therapy that I was taking, um, I made a request to pause taking it before starting the next round of higher dose. And I had done this like a month and a half kind of, I wouldn't call it a detox, but it was a very specific diet with lifestyle practices. And it completely changed how I felt. I lost like 10 pounds. I felt really clear and amazing. And it kind of prepared my body to then transition to taking a higher dose of this medication. Um, and and at that point, after that is when I then, during that time, started the process of getting second and third opinions. So that was one thing I did. And then 2 years into that process of working with my current oncologist, I had gone to India and I did a complete panchakarma. And panchakarma, pancha means five, karma is actions. So this is it's a 3 week, can sometimes be a month long, um, total detox that you do in a very clinical setting in India. So it's not like a fancy spa where you're getting like all these massages. That's like very spa like. It's very individualized, catered towards the person that's in front of them, with the treating the different imbalances in the body. And that was an incredible experience. And it really like sloughed off a lot of layers of stress that I had been harboring for the last 3 and a half years of going through my cancer journey. Um, and uh, and so that was really interesting. I mean, at that time, that was when my cancer returned, actually coming back from that treatment. The treatment isn't what made the cancer come back. It just, it stoked my immune system, my immune response to be like, oh, this has been dormant because you had an IUD that like basically was holding the cells back. And now the IUD is out and you're doing all this stuff to like clear out your body, and cancer's back. Let's like go back into treatment again.
Right.
Yeah, but it was an incredible experience, and it really helped shift, how I fuel my body, how I take care of my body, how I incorporate different rituals to keep myself balanced, and also just work with the mind, because the mind is a really powerful thing, and it's so important in thrivership in order for us to stay positive. despite the like intense adversity that we can be going through. Yeah.
So would you say that since your cancer, what have you incorporated more into your life that has contributed to that thrivership?
Yeah.
And what does thrivership look like to you?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, the things that I have, well, since, over the last 4 years and also really the last like 4 months, things have shifted as well. But I would say the things that really have been helpful for me is just considering the types of food that I eat and really focusing on the different seasons that I'm in, not just season of like the year, but also seasons of life. Like, at a certain point I've gone,
I was like, what was that?
I don't know.
Did you hear that noise?
Yeah, it sounded like someone talking.
I know. That was weird.
That was an interesting exchange. Yeah. Okay. Well, that happened.
I'm like, I'm in a room all by myself right now. So
I am too, but it definitely there's no one here.
yeah.
It sounded like it was coming out of the computer.
But you heard it there first.
Okay. So the things I've incorporated when I come back, when I'm talking about seasons of life, like well, first of all, I did therapy. So therapy was very, very helpful, talk therapy, because it helped me get clear on not blaming myself for having cancer. I think there's a lot of like stuff in the mind that we can go through with why is this happening to me? Trying to have agency over your body and take care of yourself, um and pull in those like holistic, ways of caring for yourself, but also being realistic with like cancer doesn't have discernment and it can affect anybody. Um and so for me, therapy was like a really important tool. I have a parent who's a therapist, so I always felt like, oh, I don't need to do therapy. But talk therapy was very helpful in just making some of those bigger decisions, and then being able to notice the mind chatter. I also started meditating and doing breath work, and even if I couldn't meditate, like just, meditation doesn't just have to be sitting with your eyes closed. Meditation can be there's many different types of meditation. So yoga nidra was like a really incredible tool for me. Yoga nidra is when you're listening to a recording where you're basically guided through like kind of a body scan meditation, and it takes you in. Nidra means sleep, so it's like sleep yoga. And anytime I'm just was feeling really stressed out, really emotional, and just really upset about everything, because I was also working full time in for the first 2.5 years of the pandemic, and during this having going through this treatment plan, um, surviving and thriving, trying to thrive with cancer. Um, and so the stress was real. It was really real. And I would say like all the tools that I brought in to try to like manage my stress were very helpful. Yoga nidra, um, and breathing techniques, meditation, taking walks, like just being in nature, going on hikes, being outside. And when restrictions started to lift, and now too, just like really prioritizing relationships that are positive and leave me feeling positive, relationships that have positive impressions in my life. I've kind of started to just really cut away at the fat, trim away at the fat of like, or trim away the layers of like people who just don't serve me. And that also means work too. I had a major like job change halfway through this journey. And cutting ties with that, it was really hard, but I knew it needed to happen for my mental health. And stress and mental health feeds cancer too. And so we need to take care of this vessel that is like holding us. And, you know, um, I was always very athletic growing up. And so I always was like, I'm always one of those, I'm very fiery and like need to push myself. But this really taught me to be softer and to just try to land in a soft place for myself and to not push so hard. And, we live in a society that really pushes productivity. We channel a lot of what I like to call the solar energy or the yang energy. It's all about like, get it done. And sometimes it's really important. We do need that. But oftentimes we don't um, prioritize in this society, unfortunately, the feminine energy, the softness, and I think the yin energy and all of that is so, so important. Being gentle with yourself and compassionate with yourself and accepting where things are so, so important in order for you to lean into the support, to lean into receive, that was something I took from our retreat with Shays Warriors. And that was like, it came at such a important time for me. I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but I was not, I'm a giver. I'm always giving. And so to be able to just receive and be okay with receiving, like, I think that's just so important when you're taking care of everyone else. And I know that I can only speak for myself. I'm going to not say we, but for me, um, I like to be on top of things. And there's a little bit of like a wall that I've had built up, and to kind of let that go and release and just be soft and gentle. That is what I've incorporated in Thrivership. And so I think Thrivership is that. It's finding the balance. It's looking at the yin yang symbol, the light and the dark. When there's darkness, we have to find that light. Um, and it can be just finding joy in the simple things. And um, I actually, after changing jobs a year later to the date, I started my own website and my own company called Joyful Me Healing, and it really sprouted out of the journey that I've had having cancer and being diagnosed with cancer and going through my healing journey. And I really want to support people in their paths. I've worked with a few cancer survivors. Sorry, my eyes are still wet. um, and so um, I think it's really just taught me to align with that and finding joy in the simple things. Walking my dog, cuddling on the couch, and being okay with just like not being okay and not feeling like I have to change that immediately. And when I can sit with that, it makes things a little lighter. It makes things a little easier. And there's that balance, you meet yourself in the dark with a little bit of lightness, with a little bit of ease, a little bit of grace, and things start to shift and transform. I know I kind of went off on a tangent. I hope I answered your question.
No, you, first of all, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge everything that you feel, because I think that so many people who are going to be watching this video or hearing this podcast have the exact same feelings that they may have suppressed deep down and are scared or ashamed
Yeah.
to express, because everything that you just said takes me back 8 years ago to how 3 months after I was done with my cancer, and sometimes still to this day, I have that survivor's guilt of feeling shameful that I do have fears and I don't feel good as I once did. And I can't always do everything. And I was that son, go, 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 go.
Mhm.
And cancer was that stop sign that
Yeah.
said, what are you doing, Shay? Look at this world. Look how beautiful it is. Take a moment and watch that bumblebee hit that flower.
Yeah.
Or look up in the sky. Watch the birds float. Or allow people to give you a hug.
Yeah.
And not just I'm going to give you a quick hug. Allow people to give you that 20, 30-second hug and really feel the hug and the
Yeah.
emotion and the energy that when you give someone a hug, you can transform. Or looking at somebody's eyes and smiling or understanding that they're not okay, but they're
Yeah.
still giving you a smile, right? That's the mental health that nobody talks about in life after cancer. And that hopefully by what we're doing right here in this present moment, we're able to just talk real talk
Yeah.
and allow people to not be okay, but not stay in the not okay.
Yeah.
And to know that Shays Warriors Life After Cancer is a full community of me, of you, and of so many other women and men who have gone through the process, who do feel the same way, who have some of those same thoughts, and are here for them so that they know they're not alone in this.
Yeah.
And if their friend or their spouse or a loved one doesn't understand what they've been through and says, why can't you just get over it? For us to maybe know enough now where we're at in this stage and say, it's okay that you don't understand. And I hope that you never have to understand.
Yeah.
But here's a safe place they can come to talk to you about their journey because you've just shared this journey of triumph
Yeah.
and you've been vulnerable enough with us to allow us in. And that helps us both heal.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for having that courage and being a yes to sharing. Because I know you've been through a lot, and because I'm also your friend in this.
Yeah.
But you do give a lot. You've given so much, and I think for us givers, it's so hard to receive. It feels unnatural in every being in our body to be given that love. But if we are able to accept that love, man, that heart just bursts open
Oh yeah.
and the magic just starts happening. And then these things start going on. And here we are.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. I feel like I'm, you know, getting to know who I am now, and that is part of like my thrivership story. For me, I felt like this journey has like held me back. Like I feel like I've had to put life on pause. I haven't been able to like, you know, figure out what I want to do with my career or make these kind of choices because I've always had this like looming thing that cancer is growing, or and the surgery is very permanent. It's very final, and for many reasons, right? Like I can't have kids now, naturally, or conceive. And that was always kind of a question, like could I actually with this disease? But it feels like I kind of went on this long journey as like a mental game, a tug of war, by making the choice to like to do the conservative approach and not take the cancer out right away. And for that reason, like I felt like I had put my life on pause for so long. And, having the surgery recently, I'm moving kind of coming out of that and going through thrivership with Shays Warriors and building that positive community around me, I feel like I'm like, oh, like, who is Emily now at 40? And like, with all of this experience and all of these feelings, and just trying to be open and share, because I know like we are stronger when we do come together, and we know that how connected we are when we have pain and we feel it, and we're going through really scary things. It can feel very isolating and alienating. And that was very magnified for me also being in the pandemic and coming out of that and reconnecting with people and having this opportunity to connect with Shays in such a beautiful way, and getting to reconnect, once a month, offering these classes. Like, it's just been a really soft landing for me as well. So just as much as like me sharing is giving, Shays Warriors is an incredible platform and opportunity to just connect with thrivers and survivors and not be afraid to like get down and dirty with some of those like uncomfortable feelings that you might be sitting with. And I really do appreciate you and all you've given for us, because it is true, there is sometimes we do get forgotten that we've gone through this by like people who haven't gone through it, right? That are your friends or your family. And it's like, okay, your cancer's gone, like get over it or whatever. And it's like, no, this is like, it's still going. I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to figure out what thriving means. And there's always that fear that cancer will come back and that it's not gone. And so that is always there, but I'm not letting that hold me back from moving forward with life.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. The last question.
Yeah.
This one might take a while. I love this. We could probably do a whole series about this, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But what do you suggest? What would you want to say to people to tell them what to say or not to say to either cancer patients or cancer survivors? What are some of the things that if you could tell people?
Yeah. I think what always made me uncomfortable was when people asked me how I felt. How do you feel? Are you okay? It's like, I don't know that I really want to go into all that with you right now. I think the important thing as a friend or family member is, how can I help you? Like, what do you need right now? And if you don't know what you need, like, just show up. Show up. I had so many friends that showed up for me that really just like it made me feel so supported, that dropped off food, that came and just like sat with me in my backyard and like just let me cry, that didn't try to dig deep and figure things out, but just like held the space. Go on walks with your friends like that are going through this. I would say it's important to show someone that you support them. And so knowing like your love language, like whatever your love language is, what does that look like? And how can you demonstrate that to somebody? Maybe you're like really good at organizing things. So like coming to their house and just like doing laundry and folding laundry. And there are days where like your friend, your person either who's going through treatment, has cancer, really are just exhausted and want to sleep, sending them like soft blankets and heating pads and somewhere to land softly, like just creating that environment. I would say some of the things, don't not ask how they're doing, because obviously that's important. That's
Yeah.
just a me thing. But checking in and just letting people know that they're loved, asking people how they're doing. I would say like people don't really want to hear like, at least I don't. So I don't know if you can relate to this, Shay, but just like here's like this book that I read that's like on how to beat cancer, or just kind of like being a medical influence. And
Yeah.
like I have my team, like I have my medical team. I don't need you to give me medical advice unless I'm asking for it. Unless I'm like, "Hey, I'm looking for an alternative to this. Does anyone have referrals?"
I have to stop you there because I think this is huge. One, I mean, I don't want to sound like a cancer snot, but I'm gonna sound like that. If you have not gone through cancer and you are not an oncologist,
Yes,
please do not give me your medical advice. And if I have not asked for it, please do not give me your medical advice.
correct.
I have to be able to trust my medical team, and your influence could trigger something mentally unstable in me.
Yeah.
So please, if you are not an oncologist and you have not gone through the same exact DNA cancer that I have, zip it.
Zip it.
Zip it.
Zip it. That is the least supportive thing that you could do.
Oh,
And so that would be the one thing that I would say, that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me, because I've also gone through that with random people. I have had people, which has been really beautiful, like reach out to me from like my past, from like someone that I went to high school with whose wife had gone through, breast cancer, or has the BRCA gene, and like got like a total mastectomy and is getting like a radical hysterectomy like next year, who just was like, I just want to tell you how strong you are. Like those are the things that like are really beautiful and helpful and supportive, and completely like took me off guard because I haven't talked to this person since high school, right? And so those are the things that are helpful. But like, I don't want you sending me, Suzanne Summers' book on how to beat cancer and like her cancer story. Like, I'm sure it's wonderful, but like, I don't need the medical medium book to like get me through this, So you don't have any book
I
referrals.
love how you said it. I had someone send that to me, and I was like, drinking celery juice is not going to kill my cancer, and it's going
No.
to give me some major high
I'm
salt
just gonna
intake.
be freaking also dehydrated after that, because I'm gonna be pooping my brains out from
Can we say that on this pooping?
I don't know. Oh gosh. Well, I'm an Ayurveda practitioner. We like to talk about poop a lot. So,
Well, those who know me, I usually do too with Dr. Fung. So, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me. I don't know if there's anything else that I experienced that was like highly unhelpful. Um, just, I mean, other than people like not knowing.
Did you ever get the don't eat that sugar cookie because it's going to feed your cancer?
Yes, the sugar thing. Come on. Yeah. That's like, okay, I'm actually in a nutrition group for cancer survivors with a nutritionist who, is at gosh, now I can't even remember the name of the organization, but it's through UCSF. Anyways, it's like I've got my team, and I've got people that are that are medical professionals that yeah, no, the sugar cookie, I've gotten that. Yeah, the sugar feeds
The other
cancer.
thing that they don't understand too is someone who just needs to eat or just needs some type of nutrition,
Right.
even if a cookie or a muffin or whatever is the only thing that they can stomach. If that person gets so much anxiety and the fact that piece of cookie is going to explode their cancer and it's going to spread, and they don't eat, could be more detrimental
Exactly.
to
Them
them than
having
that.
a
So
bit of
it's
sugar.
another one of those zip it.
Yeah, just sip it. Like, you don't
Zip it.
know that person how long it took them to get the will to just pick up the fork, to
Yeah.
pick up the muffin. There's so much that's happening in our minds and our bodies physically, and like just the amount of nausea that cancer survivors and thrivers go through. Just don't judge my nutritional
And
intake.
let's
I
face
don't
it,
like
me,
it.
you and I grew up in the, I'm going to say I'm older than you. I know this, but I grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s. I pretty much ate sugar, like
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, that's the one that sticks out for me. Just, about just being judgmental or thinking you're being helpful by um by offering advice when it's not asked, and
yeah,
offering your opinion when it's not based on when it's based on like your cousin's experience or something. Like, don't do that. Just be a good friend, be a good spouse, show them what it feels like to be supported, however that means for you. And
you
and
said
that will
it
go a
best.
long way.
You said it best. If you can't say anything, just show up for them, take a walk, hold their hand, give them a hug,
Yeah.
sit in the backyard with them.
Yeah.
That's something.
It's something. It
And it
goes a
means a
long
whole
way.
heck of a lot.
Yeah. It beats a whole heck of a lot of like not knowing what to do too, and I can understand as like a caregiver or a loved one or a spouse, having your own feelings about your partner, your friend, your family member going through something like this and feeling helpless or feeling like you don't know what to do. Those little things go a very long way. At least I know they did for me, and I'm certain that they will for someone who's already full of fear and terror for what they're going through. And the fear and terror of it coming back, because that is always going to be there. And so just, yeah, keep showing up and being a good person.
Emily, we could literally talk about this
I
forever.
know we could talk forever.
Oh my gosh. And I just am so grateful that you are a part of our tribe. And I'm so grateful today you were able to share this story with everyone, because I know that someone who is watching this and listening to this is going to get a lot out of it.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you want to share before we close up?
Um, just that I'm a resource. So like if you listen to this and you need someone to talk to, you're curious, you have questions about alternative medicine like Ayurveda or yoga, or meditation or breath work, like I'm available. And if you don't want to talk about any of that, you just need someone to cry with, I can just sit on the phone with you and do that. So like, please don't hesitate to reach out to Shay to let her know you need someone to talk to. I'm happy to be a sounding board. I'm happy to just listen. And that you're not alone. Like, this is a beautiful community. I've met a lot of beautiful people through Shay's Warriors, and I hope that you continue to stay connected, um, and know that you're not alone through all of this. Yeah.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you so
Thanks, Shay.
much. Thanks, everyone. And if you want to get in touch with Emily, Emily is a part of our ambassador team at Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer. Please reach out to Emily at shayswarriors.org and we'll get you in touch. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.